If you had to pick one thing, one strategy or change that you could implement in your business right now that would allow you to thrive despite tough economic times, what would it be? Let's take a look at a list of the top 5 things that I hear most business owners, just like you, say when I ask them this same question. Spend more money on marketing, chase customers, have a sale, ask for referrals or help, tighten your belt, cut costs, or do more networking. Now, what do all of these have in common? They all involve you doing more of the same thing that you've always done. None of these involves a radical shift in the way that you do business, do they? None of these involve you taking a step back and re-examining what you do and whether it's actually working. And none of these involve you changing the way that you communicate what you do to your customers. So why is that important? Because consumer sentiment and spending has changed dramatically in the past few years. And those changes are being felt across every industry and by both big and small businesses. Now, everything you thought that you knew about your customer and why she was buying from you has probably changed. And if you don't take time now to rediscover your prospect's main source of pain, the reason why she needs your product or service, you risk losing more sales and more ground to your competition. Now, some of you are probably, sitting there thinking, but my industry is different. You may think that you've been hit especially hard and that everyone in your niche has lost sales. But that's really not the case for 99% of you. Even some of the most competitive and vulnerable industries have companies who have continued to perform well and who have even stole market share. Now, just for a moment, I want you to cast your mind back to the first few months after the GFC. A lot of people lost their life savings during the stock market crash, and many lost their jobs immediately after that. It was a horrific few months, and very few industries felt the wrath of the crash more so than the automotive sector. If you remember, new car sales dropped by almost 20% in a very short period of time, and they stayed that way for almost a year. Now, that's a huge drop in an industry that is vital to the health of the national economy. Now, sales of new cars were down 20%, and that was true across the board. Despite the massive drop in sales, one manufacturer actually managed to gain market share and outperform all the other companies in sales growth. Do you remember who that was and why? Only one company stopped and took a good hard look at the pain of their customers and tried to do something different. They didn't do what all the others did, which was spend more money on newspaper ads, laying off salespeople, and slashing new car prices. Only one company examined the change in the market correctly, diagnosed the pain of their prospects, and came up with a solution. If you lose your job and can't make the payments, no problem. We will take it back free of charge. Do you remember who that was? That's right, Hyundai. One simple change to their focus and strategy, they stole market from every other manufacturer because they correctly identified the shift in their customers' pain. They didn't keep going on with the same old strategy and approach that clearly wasn't working. Yes, there had been a major downturn, and the whole industry was hit hard. But there were still lots of customers who wanted to buy a new car, but were afraid to do so because they might lose their jobs. So, how can you apply this to your market right now? First and foremost, your customers are not thinking about you, your brand, and your features and benefits. They are thinking about their own survival and whether or not you can cure their pain. If you are able to correctly diagnose pain, you can trigger the part of the brain that makes decisions, and you will stand apart from your competition. That's the power of sales seduction. Think about one of your customers right now and her pain. What do you need to do in order to get more clarity around that? What questions do you need to ask her about how it's affecting her financially, personally, maybe even strategically? To the extent that you can diagnose her pain, get her to acknowledge it, and put forward the solution that cures it, she will listen to anything that you have to say. Take a look around you. Businesses are closing their doors every day, which means more potential customers for the businesses like you that do survive. And in times like these, It's going to take more than just doing more of what you've always done to secure the survival of your business. Uncertain times call for deliberate decisions and proven practices. In order to recession-proof your business, you need to shift your thinking around the way that you do business and start providing the solution to the number one pain or challenge that your customers have.